Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, welcome to another glorious, wait, I don't even remember what the letter of the day is. I'm just going to say it's G, glorious and great Ask an Engineer. It's me, late H. Not horrific.
You should see my email. My inbox is horrific.
Horrific, okay.
But I think H is going to be brought to us by Hexabot, not horrific. Hexabot, not horrific inboxes.
It's a, that's I. That's I for inbox.
No, it's my inbox, not yours.
Hooray!
Who's on first?
For H, for Hexabot. Brought you by H. It's me, Lady Ada, the engineer. With me is Mr. Lady Ada,
Hi.
who also plays Adabot, and also does camera control, and maybe will help me think of some adjectives that don't start with H, that do start with H but are not horrific. And we've got an exciting show for you today with all sorts of cool electronics and letters and blinky things and PyTFTs and newsletters and videos. Lots of videos today. So take it away.
Okay, right, on tonight's show, code is blinky, 10% off in the Adafruit store. Everything except for software and gift certificates. We're going to go over the letter of the day. Well, now it's spoiled. Well, if you follow along, it's a pretty easy test. Show and tell, people around the world showing and sharing their projects. We'll talk about what they showed and shared and more, and how you can be part of the show and tell. Packet Mail bag's going to stop by. Packet, work harder.
What do you mean work harder?
Work harder, Packet. More good emails, more good things.
You did have a good email. You're going to read
No,
that?
more. I mean, more, yeah.
Okay.
Jobs board, the best place online to post your jobs, post your skills, and more. Some news in the world of open source hardware. Some Arduino news. It's not what you think, though. Adafruit Learning System, some of the best tutorials online in the world of electronics and more. Time Travel Tuesday. Look back in the world of makers, hackers, artists, engineers, space people, everything, you name it, it's there. Wearables. Video from Becky Stern this week. 3D printing. Video from Noah and Pedro. Pi Day, we have a special tutorial that we just released. And we'll talk about Adafruit.io. We're going to have new products.
New.
We're going to answer your questions. We have a trivia question. We might have top secret. All that and more on, we got a couple things.
Okay.
All that and more on Ask an Engineer.
All right, let's do this thing.
Yeah.
Doing this thing.
We're going to do this thing. Okay, so first up, code's blinky.
I mean, every day's blinky, but today we have a particularly blinky new product, and so
you should
use the code.
Use that code.
10% off everything in the store except for software and gift certificates.
Yeah.
But everything else.
Then don't forget, we still do UPS Ground, free $200 or more.
Yeah.
And that's
Continental
reliable shipping.
Trackable. It's awesome. You love it. It's UPS Ground. It'll show
I've been really
up.
impressed with UPS lately. I had some stuff I had to look up, and they were absolutely amazing. So it was cool. All right. This week's show is brought to you by the letter H. This is from Lady Ada's coloring book. R is for robots. H is for hexapod.
This is a very friendly hexapod with gigantic eyes.
Totally not going to hurt you.
Not going to chew your face off.
Yeah. So
That's cute. And this is a design by Bruce Yan. So he looked at some hexapod projects and just decided, hey, this is the cutest hexapod you can make. And a hexapod's it's a 6-legged robot, and usually it has like 12 servos. There's also octopods, like they're got 8 legs, but hexapods are really cool. And what's nice about them is because they have 6 legs and they move like an insect, they can turn around and move in any direction. Like they can move diagonally and straight and rotate and stuff. So this is why people like them. Also, they can crawl over stuff really easily, and they also look really cool. We actually have a hexapod kit in the store from what's it called? The Sparky people.
And as someone said in the chat room, it's a robot face hugger. That's correct.
It is a robot face hugger.
Okay.
But it fills your intestines with love.
And then it shoots out, and then eventually takes over your ship, and you have to nuke it from orbit, and no one ever learns, and they're always trying to...
This is Robot Friend.
Yeah, this is Robot Friend.
This is cute. Okay. Look at those eyes. How can you...
That's not Robot Friend. All right, adorable. Show and Tell is every single week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Google+. You post a comment, we add you. We have over 500 people right now. It's getting massive.
Okay.
And they show and share their projects from around the world. And sometimes people even bring house pets, which is kind of nice.
We had like 4 house pets. Did you see that even Steve had a cat on the shoulder?
Yeah. I guess, I know there's been studies about, if you have a pet, it calms you down and like things are good.
Yeah, we're MOSFET.
But you know, for the longest time, we used to be hunted down by like big cats and big animals. But somehow
It's high stress.
Now it's fun in there. And when you see a cat, you're like, oh, look at a cat, or a dog, oh, look at a dog.
Yeah, that's because we like they can't kill you. I mean, our cat MOSFET, like he can barely even like bite us.
Yeah, and so I don't know
It's
what,
just like,
but it even works on the show and tell. Like when people have a cat and they're petting the cat,
It's the big ears.
I'm just like, hey, that's pretty nice. Things are going pretty
It's
good.
fuzzy and warm.
Yeah.
It's like a
All right.
bear.
So
Okay.
who was on the show and tell besides these friendly mammals that
We
live
had
with
like
us?
4 mammals,
Yeah.
but beyond the 4 mammals, we had
Well-
many. Oh, we also, in addition to pet mammals, we also had human mammals who were really lovely. We had a full house. We had like 11 people, including some doubled up people. So if it was full, just next time, just try to get in early because we have a lot of people and you have to get a little bit of practice with how to do the show and tell.
Yeah.
But it's all good. We start off with Adafruit Northwest team member Tony DeCola, who has been doing a project. He wanted to make like DIY amiibos. I don't know how you say it because I don't have a Nintendo, but there's little figurines that have an RFID device in them, and when you put them on your Wii console, it like lets you play as that character. And so he saw like a lot of people collecting these, and he said, you know, we can like make our own using RFID. So what he did is he took a bunch of RFID tags in the store and made our RFID reader work with the Raspberry Pi, and then interfaced that with Minecraft. So when you put he made these papercraft bricks, and they have a tag inside of them, and so when it gets put on top of the Pi, it generates those bricks right where you're standing. So you can basically like kind of put down like diamond or TNT or brick or gold or other bricks, I guess, that you have, and it will generate them. So it's a very interesting project. It's a preview. He's going to do a tutorial about that, but it was really neat to see all these pieces come together. Noah and Pedro from Adafruit Southeast came by. They do 3D Hangouts tomorrow on Thursday, so don't forget to watch that. They showed off 3 projects. They have the Droney trophy that they're printing in color, the copper fill from ColorFab. It's a copper look, so it's kind of a metallic looking drone. It's a very friendly drone, like this hexacopter, very friendly. And they also made a little sister gun from BioShock using all 3D printed parts with some translucent blood slug juice holding stuff and like a trigger, and it glows red and it looks great. And the video is going to be awesome, so check that out tomorrow. And then finally, a project that we've been working on, which is a Daft Punk sequencer. So on the go, you can play Daft Punk snippets of audio, which it was kind of like the Daft Punk console web page that got taken down, unfortunately. So that's from Team Adafruit. And don't forget to watch Noah and Pedro tomorrow, Adafruit 3D Hangouts on Thursday at 3 p.m. And then we had some great people show up with their own personal project. El Zulas came by with her dog Eddie, and like multiple projects. She said she can't show up usually because she has class, but today she showed up with a knit shawl that has lily pad and sparkle blue LEDs, and the shawl is also knitted to be sparkly. Color Quest gloves that have a NeoPixel ring with multiple colors on it, and a color sensor on the fingertip. And so when you put on the gloves, it tells you what colors to go find, and you have to go touch things that have that color, and it tells you when you've completed the game. A hat with a little Cylon strip that goes back and forth. A Star Trek shirt that has a communicator badge, and it is hooked up into like an Android headset, and so you can use it to actually like communicate with your Android, and like has speakers and stuff. So that's kind of cool. Steve came in, and Steve's assistant Angela, his daughter perhaps, and he made her a NeoPixel Princess Tiara. And not only that, but this is like amazing. He made a wand that has buttons and an accelerometer, and when you wave the wand, it changes the design on the tiara, so it can go from like rainbow to like red LED sparkling to purple LED sparkling. So check out the video. This is like the best Princess Tiara, and we're gonna see it sold by Disney probably like next year.
Sure.
I can totally see it.
Well, Disney does a lot of neat things with the Electric Light Parade and some wearable stuff, and you know, where else can you deploy something with thousands of people every single night? So
Yeah, but
pretty cool.
it was the wand thing that was amazing.
No, it was really neat. They did that's an excellent job.
Yeah, I kind of want one now. I'm gonna wave this one. Arcturus came by with NeoPixel cat ears, little ears that he's stuffing with NeoPixels and will glow. And he's working on the project. He'll come back later. Lon came in with a papercraft Thor's hammer. So he's basing it off of the comic book where it's like Lady Thor, and she has this hammer that like she smacks people with. So he's making it a foam, but he started with a papercraft version. Roberto came in to demo his photo booth time lapse. He'll show up tomorrow and show off more of that. And then finally, C. Scott came in with some solder tips. Kester 331 uses like a vinegar-based flux, so it's really good for easy water washing. And then when you can't water wash, use Kester 245 low residue solder. I didn't even know there was a difference between all the Kester solders. I thought they were all the same. So I learned a lot.
Okay.
All right, and that was a show. That was
All
epic.
right. All participants on the show and tell get an As Seen It on the show and tell sticker. All you have to do is email support@adafruit.com and we will send you out a sticker if you showed something cool on the show. Lady Ada, we have a special video on our site on learn.adafruit.com that shows you how to join the show and tell. However,
What?
for people who don't want to watch a video, we can tell them right now, but they're kind of watching a video right now, so no matter what, there's a
Very
video
meta.
involved. Yeah. So all they have to do is
Go to our Google Plus page
yeah.
at plus.google.com/plus Adafruit. Look for the photo of the image of Adabot, and underneath usually says something like show and tell every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Comment here to get added to the circle, and then you comment there with your Google Plus account and say, hey, I want to show off some electronic projects. And then we'll click on your avatar and add you to the circle, and then you will get invited every single week. Show off your project, 7:30 p.m. Show off your crafting, electronics, wearables, Radio Shack retrospectives, maker spaces, hacker spaces, tools, laser cutters, pretty much anything that's cool and crafty. Absolutely show off your project. Don't forget to be at your computer at 7:30 because it fills up very fast.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, pack the mailbag. Stopping by. Every week we get letters, emails, faxes. What else?
Telexes,
Yeah.
passenger pigeons,
We get all sorts of things.
falcons.
We also read these out to the company, so thank you everyone who keeps sending these to us. This one is from a reader. Just wanted to thank everyone at Adafruit. As a 30-something going back to school for aerospace and electrical engineering, your company, and specifically your learning system, is a tremendous resource. The world of electronics and programming is vast and complex. Adafruit is immensely helpful for people like me who are just beginning to scratch the surface. Thank you. Keep up the great work, guys. Thanks again. Yay.
Yay.
Thank you for sending that. These keep us going.
Okay.
All right.
Don't forget to send your letters. You can send multiple letters.
Yeah,
you
you
can
can.
send as many as you want.
Adafruit's job board. We made this job board because there's just a bunch of spam. And if you sign up on a jobs board, I saw this identity theft stuff. It was a mess. And so all these makers have skills.
Wait,
And
what identity theft? Somebody stole from LinkedIn or something, or what?
Oh yeah. So do you want to hear a kind of crazy scam?
Okay, tell me this. Crazy.
Actually, you know what? Let's break through the third wall.
Wait, I want to know about this scam.
Yeah,
I love learning about scams.
So let me tell you something. So we're a company that has statistically zero fraud. We do a really good job catching people who are trying to use stolen credit cards.
Okay.
All right.
This has to do with job boards.
Oh, it does.
Oh.
It does.
Okay.
So one of the scams that happens is these companies, usually in other parts of the world, will post jobs on jobs boards like Monster or whatever, and they'll say, "Oh, you can be like a virtual shopper for our international clients."
Yeah.
Yeah.
We heard a couple of those.
So when you guys see those things on like telephone poles that say "work from home," a lot of those are those types of scams. But they've moved on to jobs boards. And so people who just want a job, and they're like, "Oh, or do you know anything about shipping internationally, or can you
go to the post
Can you
office?
just order something online and send it?" So what happens is it gets bad twice. So first off, these people fall for it, and they apply to these jobs. They have to submit all their information,
Social security number,
scans of
address,
cards, all this thing,
ID, scan of ID.
all this stuff. So then they get delivered, and because I actually found someone who was a victim to this, and I was trying to help them because they were trying to use a stolen credit card on our site, and they get a list of credit cards and products to buy. Mm-hmm. Now, it doesn't work out. Of course, they're stolen, and then when they send all this stuff, they never get reimbursed for their postage.
Yeah, because they're told
Yeah.
you send after you send 10 packages, we'll reimburse you.
Yeah, so none of it works.
And then of course they never get reimbursed for the postage.
Never
either.
works, and it's always bad.
It's kind of a brilliant scam.
Yeah, but it gets even worse.
It gets worse.
So the other thing is when you apply for these things, these jobs, they then do identity theft and open up credit cards in your name.
Yeah, because
you've given them everything.
Yeah, you sent them your ID.
Yeah, they're like, you're on
number.
payroll now. So
Yeah.
it's that bad. So
That's right. That's the worst.
So this is the worst. So what we decided to do is why have a jobs board where people don't really know what's going on at all. So you just can post your skills as a maker. So there's a lot of people who just want, hey, can you help me design a PCB for this project? I have a giant NeoPixel art installation. Can you help me? All sorts of skills like that. I need 3D, I'm a good 3D printer person. Can I,
Yeah.
do you want me to make something for you? And then maker companies that want cool makers. So like one of the latest ones were Tembu, Anyone who has these cool, interesting
Little Bits posted a couple
little
times.
bits, yeah, IDEO, you name it.
Yeah.
I think Lego did. Like we have a lot. So, anyways, that's why we did it, because it was just like, oh my god, like the jobs boards out there. They're a giant business. For us, we just get an email and you and I approve it, and then we put it up.
And then like any email that isn't a scam, it's always a recruiter. And
Yeah.
then that's horrible. And then they lie. They say that there's a company, but there was only another company. It's like jobs boards are like super creepy.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's a little bit of a story. And so, while we've stomped down fraud to less than the industry standard by all measurements and means, we also thought about jobs boards. So, anyways,
Okay.
that's one of the reasons
That's
we
a
do
good
jobs
story.
board. Yeah.
You learned something today. What
Yeah.
You learned?
Yeah, I can go on about this forever. Okay, so this one is a good example. PCB design engineer. This is from Gary in California. He's a design engineer. He's familiar with all the CAD software packages as well as their
I never even
respective
heard of like Zukin or Pantheon.
Pollux.
Aren't those
Zukin.
like enemies in the like fight
Allegro,
Superman?
isn't that an allergy medication? Anyways, he's good at it. The respective schematic capture counterparts, in addition to all those. He's well versed in programming languages, C++, Verilog, HTML, and all sorts of embedded devices. So if you're looking for someone, this is the guy. We get asked this all the time. Email Gary.
Also, people are always just like, "Hey, can you like build something for us?" And we're like,
Yeah.
"That's a month-long project. We can help you in the forums, but we can't like build a project or a product. Like if you're say you got a Kickstarter for $1 million, and now you're like, oh, I don't know anything about actually building stuff. This is one of the people you want to hire.
Yeah. So all right, let's keep going.
Hire this person.
Yeah. So some news in the world of open source hardware. One was so 3D Robotics got an exception for the commercial drones thing, so they're in a good spot.
Okay.
Check it out.
So it can be used for like individual use, as always.
Check out the site, because
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything wrong.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever regulations there are, the 3D Robotics folks have exceptions for commercial use for like I think industrial.
Yeah.
So they have this cool drone that like goes in the buildings and everything. And speaking of, we have our Droney awards coming up soon. This weekend I shot a Droney. So
You did?
I used a little drone. Here's a little movie. It's just a few seconds. And it's our new space. If you guys are hearing things right now, we're doing construction.
Yeah, this is all open now.
Yeah, we're doing stuff right now. So
It never ends.
Adafruit's kind of doubled in size again. But here's a drone's eye view. Okay.
All right, we're back.
All right. Arduino.
News in Arduino land.
Arduino news.
We have to say like Arduino.cc news. Maybe.
If they let me, I'm going to totally try to unify the Vulcans and the Romulans, and I'm going to do a
Vulcans
special.
and Romulans, they originate from like one species. Like
Yes, and I'm
yeah.
going to try to unify these two different people that are just so close in so many ways.
Okay.
Yeah. Our Arduino news this week is, guess what's shipping soon, folks? The Arduino Gemma. This is our partnership with Arduino,
Yay!
and the PCBs came in.
Prototype
Yay!
PCBs. It came in.
Yeah, prototype PCBs came
So
in.
this is going to be the official Arduino Gemma, and it has this perfect teal color, which took quite a while to get, but it's perfect and it's done now. And beautiful silkscreen, and we're going to be picking and placing this here. It's the same basic design as the Adafruit Gemma that we already have in the shop, but it's official Arduino. It's going to have a nice box. It's going to be this beautiful teal. The VID and PID USB might change a little bit because they might want it to have their USB VID PID, but we'll make sure it works with the Arduino IDE. It'll be official. So this is a next step. It's moving forward.
Yeah.
Do you want me to show it on the overhead, maybe?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we're super excited because it just takes a long time. We have to coordinate with people around the world, and there's all sorts of stuff going on. And
yeah,
we'll
this
be
is
really
the,
happy to be shipping an official Arduino with.
Yeah, so you can see the Arduino logo and it says
Yeah.
Gemma and the Adafruit logo because it's designed and manufactured by us. And then on the back, you see all the components. So it comes in a panel of 5x5. So 25 to a panel. So we're going to pick and place it here in-house. And it's going to
Yeah.
use the same parts as the Arduino, the Adafruit Gemma. And so it's kind of easy for us. We just have to get a new stencil because the boards are shifted around a little
Yeah.
bit. And then we'll maybe take a video when we pick and place these because that's going to be really exciting.
Yeah. Also, if you want to get a Gemma right now, it's the same as the currently shipping black Gemma. The only difference will be the USB VOD PID.
Yeah.
And
And
of
the
course,
packaging,
and the packaging, and of course, you'll be supporting
Arduino.
Arduino.cc.
Yeah, this will be an official Arduino, and we'll help out Arduino as well. So, yay for
Yeah.
PCBs.
Okay.
Came in yesterday.
All right. Next up, Adafruit Learning System, the best place online to learn things and more. Lady Ada, what are the tutorials this week?
Okay, so this week, I think the majority of the tutorials are all PyTFT tutorials. So, as part of the big push where I've been updating all of the PyTFT tutorials to use our new 3.18 kernel, I did 2.8-inch resistive last week, and this week did the 3.5-inch resistive, which is this one, and then if you click again to the next one, this is the 2.8-inch capacitive, and the next one. And then the hat version, the 2.2-inch no-touch hat. So just updated these with all the instructions, how to do the backlight, kernel installation. We made images, and they work, so it's awesome. Works on Pi 2. And also, the DMA is way, way faster. I don't know why 3.12 was slow. So if you have a PyTFT with an earlier image, and you notice that the image and video isn't as fast as you'd like, try this one, because even though we had DMA turned on in the previous kernel, I don't know, it just isn't as fast as this one. This one's like super speedy.
Okay. And then next up, I wanted to have a little special shout out. The team.
Oh wait, I think did we have another tutorial or?
Oh yeah, there's one more. This one just came in. This is the Adafruit I/O connected and a gift display, but don't talk about it yet.
Okay.
No, actually, I was right what I was doing.
Okay.
That was for Pi Day.
Okay.
So, anyways, special shout out. We have favorites now.
Yay!
So,
Heart it.
yeah, you can mark guides as favorites, and they'll show up in the list of guides in the learning system under My Accounts.
Yeah.
So, if you wanted to have like, oh, this is all the stuff I want to learn, just favorite it, and if you're logged in,
Because there's like 750 tutorials.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to keep track of them, and we don't change the URLs, but they do move off the front page pretty fast because, like, you know, we updated like 4 tutorials this week, added more tutorials. So, favorite
yeah.
and save.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get to that other one. That's from Pi
Okay.
Day. All right. Time Travel Tuesday. Look at makers, hackers, artists, engineers, scientists, amazing people. This one, you know, little sad, but we got to celebrate all sorts of firsts. So 1962, it's a birthday of Kalpana Chawla, first Indian American astronaut. She was born in India. She was the first Indian American astronaut, first Indian woman in space. She flew on the Space Shuttle Columbia in 1997 as a mission specialist as a primary robotic arm operator. However, in 2003, she was one of the 7 crew members who were killed in the Space Shuttle Columbia disaster. This is National Women's Month, so we're covering a lot of firsts. It's something very special to us, and this was a big deal, still a big deal. And I like that space travel is continuing on.
There's a lot of space news I keep seeing. Like, there's constantly stuff happening right now. SpaceX is like pushing it.
Yeah, I saw a really cool photo of Buzz Aldrin. He had a shirt and he was ripping it open. It says, "Get your ass to Mars," just like Total Recall. And you know what? What I like is no matter what type of challenges or adversities happen with any type of exploration, people keep going forward.
Humans just don't care.
We just got this.
Honey badger don't care.
Well, we just got this. We just got this thing where we just have to explore, and it's a pretty big universe out there. We should get out there.
Do you think we're going to colonize Mars?
We have to. We don't.
It's not a very friendly planet, though. I mean, there's no water and there's no.
You know what? Like,
it's cold.
There's very unfriendly parts of the Earth, but we sure like going there.
Okay.
Next up, wearables. Okay, this week, this is a big deal. This is the video companion to the Flora book by Becky and Tyler.
Okay.
So, and I've heard, because we did an Amazon version of the video, that Amazon said this is one of the best videos they've ever seen from an author.
Okay.
This is Getting Started with Adafruit Flora. It's the book for kicking off your own adventure into DIY wearable electronics by me and Tyler Cooper. Let's take a look inside. First, you'll find a guide to all of the materials and tools you'll need to sew your own Flora circuits, as well as basic crafting and electronics techniques used throughout the book. Next, you'll find all the parts that make up the Flora family, including sensors for motion, location, color, and light. You'll also learn how to set up the required software for Flora and blink the onboard LED. Once you've learned the basics, it's time for your first project. The Beginner Embroidery Project has you changing the color of a single NeoPixel using a switch made from conductive thread and a sewable snap, learning basic coding for digital inputs along the way. Then you'll be ready to level up to the Sparkle Skirt, adorned with sewable pixels that light up when you dance. You'll learn to use the Flora accelerometer to sense motion and write code to decide when to sparkle and with what colors. The advanced project in the book is the Flora Neo Geo Watch, which uses the compass and GPS for wayfinding navigation as well as timekeeping, communicated through a ring of NeoPixels on your wrist. Getting started with Adafruit Flora also covers what to do when your circuit's not working, how to wash your wearables, and where to go for more help and inspiration. It's perfect for the absolute novice, but has some great tips for pros too. We have a bunch of videos to support the information in the book, so be sure to check out that playlist at the link in the description. We even made a special parts pack to go with the book, which you can find on the shop at adafruit.com. We're always adding new step-by-step guides to the Flora section of the Adafruit Learning System, and if you have questions about your own wearables, post them up in the comments, and I'll tackle them each week on our live show right here on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more wearable electronics from Adafruit.
Okie dokie. So
back.
that was the Flora video.
Pick up a copy here or at Amazon?
A lot of people say the book is always better than the movie.
Yeah.
But I think in this case, they're equal. So on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. we have Wearable Electronics with Becky Stern every single week. The best and longest running wearable electronics show on this planet. I don't know the other planets because we didn't get there yet, previous conversation. But on this planet it seems to be the longest running best wearable electronics show.
By far.
3D Thursday, we've got an amazing video from Noah and Pedro. Standoffs. Standoff. Back off. I've been saying back off a lot lately. Back off. But here's the standoff.
Here's a few tips on 3D printing standoffs. When you're designing an enclosure for 3D printing, it's a good idea to prototype sections before printing the whole project. So if you're looking to mount components to an enclosure, one of the best ways to secure them is with standoffs and machine screws. A standoff is basically a support structure that elevates a PCB so that it has enough clearance for the bottom. In this example, I have a standoff on each corner, so this levels out the PCB, and two mounting holes over here allow me to secure the parts together with machine screws. So what you want to do is print out just the foundation with standoffs, and this makes it easier to revise your prototypes. I made a cutout in the center of the standoffs here, and this means it'll take less time to print the part, saving me both on time and material. When you fasten a screw through a 3D printed standoff for the first time, it'll actually create the threading for you, so you don't have to draw that in CAD. You'll want to adjust the size of your mounting hole so that it's actually smaller than the screw head itself. Mounting holes need to have a tight tolerance so that the machine screws stay in place. A standoff with a mounting hole should have a thickness of at least 1.5 millimeters so that it doesn't break when you're fastening the machine screw. Applying a chamfer on the outer edge of a mounting hole creates like a 45-degree opening so that the screw head can get recessed into the surface. And you want to do that because otherwise the screw won't fit all the way inside, it'll stick outside, and it could scuff up other surfaces. And there you have it, just some quick tips on 3D printing standoffs for enclosures. I hope this helps you speed up your design revisions, and if you guys have any tips, go ahead and drop them in the comments. That'll help me out and other people too. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more 3D printing videos from Adafruit. I'll see you guys next time.
Okay, and don't forget on Thursday, which is tomorrow, the longest running 3D printing show.
As opposed to what printing show? Like a 4D printing show?
Yeah, I guess someone's going to start doing that at some point. They'll call it like 4D printing, 5D printing, 6D printing. Someone's going to do stuff like that.
Okay, but for 3D printing,
For 3D printing,
check out 3D Hangouts.
Yeah.
3D Thursday Hangouts with Noah and Pedro tomorrow.
Yeah.
3 p.m.
Yeah.
333. How can you, well, Thursday is, well, it's such a the sound.
Yeah. Okay. We've got some stuff from Pi Day. We do this. Happy birthday, Pi. It was 3 years, and also Pi Day was just last week,
Yes.
3/14. And
Pi.
this week, I saved an extra tutorial from Learn.
Oh,
And so,
look, it's cool. It's cool.
yeah. So this is a Nimbus of friendly cloud entity. We have a new service and site we're working on called Adafruit.io. We're going to just keep sticking around in beta until it's just like so amazing. You're just going to throw up.
We're still fixing bugs.
Yeah.
I mean, not bugs,
we're getting
improving
close.
features.
But this one is the Adafruit.io connected animated GIF display, and this is from Todd. And why don't you tell us a little bit about this, because this is a cool project. So it uses Raspberry Pi and it uses Adafruit.io.
That's right. It's very interesting. So we had a previous project with we played animated GIFs on a Pi TFT, and Todd Trees, who really likes writing code in Node.js, was like, hey, I want to make this more like internetified. So it's a Raspberry Pi with a Pi TFT display, a little mini display, and it plays animated GIFs, but you can send it a URL to play by using Adafruit.io, because Adafruit.io is basically a gateway that allows you to do push and pull messages. So instead of like, the Raspberry Pi like uploading temperature data or whatever to Adafruit.io, what you can do is you can set up the Raspberry Pi to listen to Adafruit.io, and then from another computer, you can send it a message using Adafruit.io as a gateway. And so you can send it a URL with a GIF that points to an animated GIF. You can find some on the internet, I've heard, and it will play that animated GIF almost instantly. So this is kind of an interesting way of transmitting data that isn't just like button presses or temperature. You can send text, and that text gets parsed by the receiver, and in this case it turns into a URL, grabs the animated GIF, and then displays it.
Okay.
So kind of advanced, but interesting use of multiple projects together.
Okay. That's that. So
That's that?
yeah, before we get going into new products, the idea of the code is Blinky, 10% off in Native Restore, all the way up until 11:59 p.m. tonight.
Blink, blink, blink.
Okay, let's kick this
kick
off.
it off.
Let's kick it off. So it's new product time.
Yep.
Here's
New product
This
song.
is the Blinky Blinky ball.
Yeah. Okay, I'll talk about this. So
What is
this
it?
is
What
this
is
is a
this?
really interesting project. This is from the same people who did Blinky Tape, our friends in Brooklyn, and it's basically kind of like it's like an erector set for LEDs, I guess, or like I don't know like how to explain it. It's like you basically get to make shapes by taking these little pentagons, and I think also there's maybe some hexagons, and then by soldering them together on the edge, and then you program them with a thing called a Blinky Buddy, which is in this box. I'll show it off on the overhead. You can make shapes like, for example, this dodecahedron, I think is the right name. So I'll show it on the overhead because it's kind of neat. So this is the basically what you get when you order it. It's a PCB, and then you can break off these little tiles. They're called Blinky tiles, and you don't have to make a dodecahedron. You can make any shape or pattern you like, and each one has. It looks a lot like a NeoPixel, but it's actually a kind of smart LED that all shares one address pin. It's like a DMX type LED. It's like a DMX LED, if you know DMX lighting. And so it comes in this really nice package, and then you get this programmer with it. And this programmer, you connect it to your computer, and then you can use the included software, and it will drive the LEDs. And I guess you can make it perform all sorts of patterns and stuff. And it comes in like a really nice package too, so it's kind of retail quality. So you can make a ball or like a spiky star or something. But we're like supporting our Blinky Tile, Blinky Tape friends in Brooklyn. So pick one of these up. They look really fun.
Okay. And I have a couple other photos.
Okay.
So besides that, nice graphic that
Animated
links to
GIF?
stuff. That's what comes in the package.
Yeah. It has these diffusers that you can use.
Yeah,
and then
you can use that.
You can get multiple of them together and solder them together to make like sculptures and such. So you don't have to just make the cube. You can make any shape you like.
Yeah, there's the packaging to talk about.
It's nice packaging. And then, there's some photos of showing. You do have to solder to put it together, but any soldering iron will be able to do it. The pads are really, really big.
Okay. All right, well, next up, I'm pretty excited about this. Here it is.
Wait, 1 second. I have to get it.
You have to get it?
Wait,
Okay.
where'd it go?
Wait,
Oh, no, I lost it. Okay, well, it's okay because we have the photo. Oh, wait, no, here it is.
I
have a lot of electronics. Hey!
Okay, what is this?
This is the Teensy LC, and this is from PGRC, and this is a kind of a microcontroller.
What's LC stand for?
I think it stands for low cost, and because
Oh, yeah?
it's kind of like the Teensy 3, but it's a little lower cost. I think it like drops the regulator, and like maybe it has less flash or something. I'm not sure exactly.
Okay.
So you can check the product
It's super
page.
tiny.
It's super teeny. It's teensy. And it has, what's cute is it has a little 5-volt buffer in the corner, which I'll point out as a fuse. And you can use a version of Arduino. It's not Arduino officially, but it can use a modified version of the Arduino IDE. And you can program it over USB to do stuff. So people like these because they're very small and low cost. And go to the next page. There's a lot of ADDs. There's like a DAC. It has capacitive touch capability. Yeah, this shows the difference. Like, so the chip went from a QFP to a QFN. The button changed a little bit. Maybe it's a little easier to press.
Yeah.
A couple parts moved around a little bit. But I think otherwise it's pretty much pin compatible with the Teensy 3.1. So if you like the Teensy 3.1, you'll probably really dig the Teensy LC. And then I'll just show it on the overhead.
Yeah.
Hold on. Zooming.
Do I need to zoom in at all?
No, I can just hold it up. So yeah, it's very small, and there's pads all the way around, and it doesn't have an onboard regulator, it seems. Like you just feed it 5 volts in. I don't think that's a regulator. I think that's like a programming chip. So if you want to like power it from 9 volts, I think you have to like put a different regulator, like if you're powering it from a battery pack. But a lot of people these days can power stuff from a couple AA batteries, so maybe that's not a big deal. And then USB for programming, and then here's the main chip, and then here's like kind of like the reset, maybe bootloading button, and a little interface chip here. So if it works with the Teensy 3.1, pretty much everything should work. There's a little 5-volt buffer, so you can drive NeoPixels that really like 5-volt logic directly. It has just a little miniature buffer in the corner on one pin.
Yeah.
So we'll see lots of fun projects with this.
Yeah, and also for you guys who follow along, Paul is one of the, I'd say, best contributors to this Arduino world as far as getting cool stuff out there.
He's the 6th Arduino member. Isn't it like the Beatles? There's like the 5th Beatle.
Yeah, you're the 7th or
I'm
something.
the 7th.
Yeah.
MOSFET.
Yeah.
Okay.
Long.
All right, so check it out.
Long story with
If
that.
you love Teensy, you will love Teensy LC.
Okay. Well, this is going to cause some problems, so I'm just
Why?
going to show it. It's the Zero Pro. Limited edition.
It's limited. I don't know what that means. It's coming with the debug chips. We ordered these a while ago, and they came in. We only got a couple.
Yeah.
But we had the order booked already, so that's what it is. This is the new kind of generation of Arduino. This is the Arduino Zero Pro.
Yeah.
And this is kind of an interesting board. I have like I have 2 spares. I have one for me, and then I have this one I'm going to show off here. It's interesting because it's separating away from the traditional 8-bit core that's been used in the Arduino and the Arduino Mega and even the Leonardo, and also on the Tray, which has a Leonardo in it, and a Yun, which also kind of has a Leonardo in it. Instead of having like a separate Linux processor, this kind of goes the same way as the Dewey-ish. It uses a Cortex M0 processor, which I think is probably running at like 40 megahertz or something. I don't remember the exact number. It's got a ton of flash, ton of RAM, and it has underneath the limited edition sticker, which is kind of weird. I don't know why there's a sticker. It's this eDebug chip. Maybe I'll show it on the overhead real fast.
Yeah, sure. Let's do this.
Let's see if this is going to work. You can zoom in. It's kind of tough to read, but this is an eDebug chip. So
I can also zoom in.
yeah, you want to try zooming in?
Once you get to where you want
I'm
to
in
be.
here. I'm staying. I'm not moving. Yeah, there. That's some good zoom in. Okay, too much. Okay, zoom in. Bam. So yeah. So this is. There's 2 ports. This is. This says native USB. So this is what you would use to connect external devices to, and this is a AB type, so you could use like a host. I guess you can do host processing, a USB host. This is the programming port, so you program it over the USB port. And there's also debug capability. And so this chip is a special chip from Atmel that does the debugging for the main processor, which is over here. And what's interesting is previous Arduinos used Atmel chips that had debug wire capability. And maybe you like read the data sheet and you're like, what's this DW pin debug wire? Well, I've never actually seen anything that could use it because they kind of kept the protocol under wraps. And it was kind of a pain to figure out. Nobody really wanted to reverse engineer, and even then, like, there was no good support for it. But apparently Atmel has changed their mind, and with the for this chip that's going to be used with the Cortex M0, they have a pretty good step debugging interface. You'll be able to step through line by line and like set checkpoints and stuff. There's also a JTAG interface. I believe this JTAG interface is for the debug port, and then there's also over here an SWD it's kind of like JTAG. It's a way of Cortex M0s get programmed. It's a different connector. So I think this connector is for this chip and this connector for that chip. I don't actually know because I haven't hooked up my J-Link to it. But we do have a J-Links in the store if you want to do direct JTAG programming or SWD programming and debugging. We have a J-Link and an adapter in the store. So you can try this out. But yeah, it's basically this little Cortex chip, and you can check the product page for the data sheet for this part. But other than that, it's pretty similar in size. Oh, can you unzoom? De-zoom.
Yeah, I'll zoom.
Unenhance. Thank you. It's very similar in size to an Arduino Uno. It looks pretty much the same size, except there's this extra port here. There's a switching converter here, which is kind of nice. This is almost, this is all running on 3-volt logic, so just be aware in case you need something with 5-volt logic. If you want to drive like a NeoPixel from this, you might have to use a buffer like the TNC-LC has. You get an external chip to do that. And there's the buck converter over there. I think that's what this is, or a buck boost.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think this is kind of, it's interesting that finally Arduino is heading in the direction of Cortex M0, which is funny because there's been for like almost 6 years now STM32 versions, M3 or M0 now versions of Arduino. This is going to be an officially supported version, and I think it's in 1.6. So we only have a couple. We might be giving one away later. We'll see.
Okay.
So stick around.
All right. Next up,
That's
we
a lot
have
of details.
Yeah. Next up, we have two similar products. So we'll go through them, and then maybe we'll talk about. These are the touch screens.
Oh yeah, this is the star of the show.
Yeah. Besides you, this is the star of the show this week.
This is the star of the show. So we've just finished the Pi 2 support for the Pi TFT, and it was about time, good timing, because we've also updated the Pi TFT to fit perfectly on top of a Pi 2 or B+, and it's great because now it works perfectly with those as well, especially the Pi 2, which I have here. And so we updated the design of the Pi TFT 2.8, both capacitive and resistive. As you can see, it fits really nicely on top of the Pi. And we actually don't have the photo up yet, but when we go to the overhead, I'll show you. There's also 40-pin GPIO breakout. So let's go to the overhead to start. So this is the capacitive one, which I think is the most beautiful. And we just have it running X11, and you can see I can sort of select stuff, and maybe I'll...
This is a Pi 2.
This is a Pi 2.
Look how fast it is.
It's pretty fast. So I'm going to just log out. And you can see you can also have the text console.
It's so fast.
And you can use your keyboard, and you can, hold on, LS. So you can run stuff from the console as well. Display images, display video. It works exactly like the Pi TFT that you know and love, but as you can see, it fits perfectly into this case, which I really like. And it's almost like it was designed to fit into our case because it fits perfectly nicely. We will have a topper later that will fit over it, but for now you can just leave it in like this, and it stays in place. And you can also put in some buttons if you'd like. And then this is the resistive version, which we also have, and I'm only going to put the demo for the capacitive. But if you look at the bottom of the PCB, we use one PCB for both. And then here we have a really long 40-pin connector. So you can take your GPIO cable. And the previous Pis only had a 26-pin connector, but now that the Pi 2 has 40 pins, we want to use all of them. So we kind of found a way to scoot this connector in. It's a surface mount connector, and then you can plug in the connector here, and then it plugs into a Pi, and you still have 40 GPIO pin cable coming out. So you can use it with like a cobbler or whatever if you want to make like an arcade or connect sensors or whatever that you want to display in the Pi. So that's kind of like what took a long time, is to figure out how to get that 40-pin connector on there, because not all places it would fit. But we did find the place eventually. So check it out in the store. I think we didn't get them live and they're coming soon, but they'll be in the store on Friday. So
Okay.
sign up.
So what I did is I have the other set of photos. I mean, they're nearly identical, but
Show them off.
Ding.
So this is the capacitive. You can see because it's really black, and this is the resistive. You see there's a silver lining, but it's pretty much the same. It acts the same as long as you use the Pi TFT image we made.
That's cool. So there's a silver lining on certain things.
This one has a silver lining.
Okay. Well, guess what, Lay Data? That is the new products. That's it. You did it. You did it. Hooray! Hooray!
Okay.
Hooray! You did it. All right. So for whatever you could buy.
Yeah, we don't have the Pi TFTs in.
Yeah.
We'll have them in. Next week we'll definitely have
But
some.
whatever you can actually buy, you can use the code Blinky, 10% off in Adafruit store up until
Including
11:59 p.m.
Teensy LC and then the Blinky tile.
Yeah, all the way up till 11:59 p.m. tonight. All right. We're going to show off some top secret stuff now.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Why
whatever.
not?
Yeah, okay, so this was on your desk. It's called Metro.
Yeah, I was testing two things actually. This is
Yeah.
Prototypes. I like to get my prototypes in different colors, and this week was purple. And I'm designing Adafruit Metro, which is an Arduino compatible, but is designed to be like low cost and super slim. And I added a couple extras, like you can switch the voltage from 5 volt to 3 volt logic because I kind of need to do that a lot.
Yeah.
And also it has an on-off switch. And I'm doing a couple other little things in there to maybe make it very hacker friendly. So
Okay.
we'll have this as a accompaniment. If you don't want to get an Uno for some reason, like you want 3 volt logic,
Yeah.
a Metro will do you up.
And here's just a couple cool graphics that you could see. So this is what Metro looks like front and back.
Yeah, we're working on the silk screen design. Oh, hey. This is actually a Phil B design. Phil B, Paint Dragon design.
and then we handed it off to Bruce.
Who did, did a little bit of revision. But Phil B basically came up with this idea of having, because we're like, okay, well, we don't want to have it called Arduino, because like that's
We don't do
silly.
that,
We don't do
yeah.
that. We don't do that. So it's like, well, what can we call it that has the inspiration of like made in New York City, and it's like made by Adafruit, and it's like our own kind of like fast and easy way to use like the Arduino IDE. And he's like, oh, I don't know how he thinks of this, but he came up with Metro, and then he designed this. He said he wanted it to look like yellow, like a Metro card. And then we looked it up, and it turns out that the MTA is pretty picky about making stuff yellow like a Metro card.
We could do it, but instead we're just going to make the PCBs black and white, and we're going to call it Metro, and that's cool.
It's okay to say Metro, but and it's inspired by the MTA's graphic design, but in no way infringes on their trademarks, which they are apparently quite strict about.
Yeah.
So we're not going to even go there. But it'll be black and white.
Well, you're on the New York City Manufacturing Council, so maybe you can get something special. No, probably not.
Not a thing.
Yeah.
All right, so coming soon.
All right.
I'm also checking out the thing I was actually testing it with was the B&O 055, which is a really amazing sensor from Bosch. It's a 9DOF sensor that has it has the fusion inside of it. It does the AHRS, so it actually just tells you quaternions for like it tells you like angle and quaternions instead of like acceleration and magnet. Like it has a magnetometer, gyro, and accelerometer. So that's also coming soon.
All right.
I'll have testing on my desk.
Yeah. So not trivia question. Regular question time, folks. Ask your questions in the chat. We will start to.
I'll do this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have plenty of time for questions today.
Yeah. Sorry about the noise in the background, folks. Someone wants to know, is it a USB-C plug? I guess they were asking on.
I don't think anything has USB-C.
Yeah.
If it was on the Zero, it's called a micro AB, which is kind of like a micro B, but it has a little bit of a rounder shape, and it means you can use it as a host, USB host, as well as a USB client.
Does the Arduino Gemma still have a switch like Gemma?
Yes, it's the same mechanical electrical design. It's just a blue, teal color with white, and it has a different logo on the back.
Okay.
But mechanically same.
All right. Is there any difference in the hardware between the Cobbler Plus and the T-Cobbler Plus?
It's the same basic design, just one is slimmer and one is longer in T-shape, but it's the same connections. Just some people want to have it be like very squat and small, and some people want to have it more breadboard friendly. So we offer two.
Okay, Lady, how do I go about making my own class library for Arduino in C++?
The easiest way to do it, and what I always do, is actually take an existing library and copy and paste it and rename all the files, and then just edit it until it does what I want. Like if I have a sensor, for example, like the B&O 055, instead of like starting with like a blank screen, what I do is I take like an accelerometer sensor that I already have, and then I kind of cut away anything that isn't necessary and just rename stuff. And that way I always forget, like, you know, do you ever put a semicolon here, and like do you name stuff? And that's a good way to learn. Take it, copy it, modify it, and then make it work.
Okay. Next up. What was the name of that 9DOF thing you just said?
It's the B&O 055, which is annoying because it looks like BN0055, but it's BNO 055.
Do you need to have a bootloader on a bare at Megachip? What purpose does it serve? Are you okay without it?
It's a good question. You actually don't need a bootloader and an app Megachip. And honestly, when I'm doing like a production hardware, like something that's going to be finished and used often by people and like doesn't need to have a bootloader, I take it off because it's not impossible for the bootloader to trigger and like if it gets like noise or like somebody sends it the wrong data, you can accidentally trigger the bootloader and have it erase the chip, which like totally sucks. It's rare, but it can happen, especially if the chip is being abused a lot, or like they're sending UART data and resetting and doing all sorts of different stuff. So what the bootloader lets you do is you don't need like a USB Teeny or an AVR program or like a AVR ISP or ICE, whatever it's called from Atmel. Instead, what you can do is this normal FTDI cable or like a PL2303 cable that allows you to basically, when you hit reset, you have a few seconds in the beginning to send it the program you want. And it's basically just like, it's a little cheaper, it's a little easier, but it takes up a bit of flash. And again, there's a little bit of risk that if the user sends it the wrong data, they can erase the chip. So trade-offs.
Okay. Next up. Do we use solar panel power? No, we're in New York City. We
There's
don't have
no light in New York City.
We live in Gotham City.
There's no sunlight.
Yeah. Next up, does the Arduino Zero have Wi-Fi? No.
The Arduino Zero doesn't have Wi-Fi, but there is an Arduino Wi-Fi shield, and I think it's designed to work with the Arduino Zero. So if you wait a couple months, it'll probably come out. I know that there were some photos from like a maker fair. So it doesn't have Wi-Fi built in, but because it has so much flash and RAM, it would be very good to pair with like a CC3000 or ESP8266.
Yeah. Next up. Oh, any news on the Adafruit Sim? I'm meeting with someone in a week. It's just taking forever to become an Adafruit telephone company. Turns out it's
Adafruit,
actually
telephone and telegraph.
Turns out there's some
AT&T?
forms to fill out.
Okay.
Next up, what video software do we use for the show? We use Wirecast Pro, and it's the best thing out there. All of it's really complicated, but there's a lightweight version for YouTube. So if you do live streaming on YouTube, when you go into the settings, I forgot the name of it. I think it's just called like YouTube Live or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. And I believe that is going to be almost it. There's a couple ones let me hit the other chat. How do I set up an email server on the Pi 2?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, the Pi 2 is just running like Debian. So if you look for any Debian tutorials on how to set up a mail server, I don't know if like Qmail or something other than SendMail, pretty much. There should be tons of tutorials on how to do it. It probably just isn't on by default. You probably just have to apt-get install like Qmail or something and then do some quick configuration and then it should run. It's just like a Linux server. So as long as it's on the internet and it has an external IP address, not through your Wi-Fi router, it should be fine.
Okay, what's the most economical solution for charging a LiPo over solar?
Our USB solar charger is like by far the lowest cost way to effectively do it. Anything that's less usually doesn't do proper current tracking. And so like you can use like if you try to use like a $4 like cheapo LiPoly charger and you just plug it up to a solar panel, it's not going to work because solar panels are current mode, not voltage mode. Whereas like out of the wall, like the wall plug you get is a voltage mode. You get 5 volts up to a certain amount of current. A solar panel instead gives you a certain amount of current up to the max voltage you can do. So you have to be kind of careful because if you try to draw too much current, the voltage will collapse. And so you have to have a charger that is smart enough to realize like, I should back off from trying to get too much current if the voltage starts to collapse. So we have a solar USB DC LiPo charger and it's like $20-ish. And you can use it with any 6-volt solar panel, which we have, which are very common. And then if you need like something that's a 12-volt panel or 24-volt panel, I know that there's commercial solar chargers that do it. I don't know if there's any that small, but I don't know, you can look around.
Okay. That's it.
Okay.
Let's give away some stuff, Lady Ada. What do you want to give away this week?
We're going to give away Pro Zero.
Yeah, okay.
Zero Pro. Yeah, why not? We have one.
Yeah, let's...
Look, I got to get rid of this thing, okay? I'm not going to keep it.
Yeah. All right, what are the rules?
Rules are if you've won something from this chat, you can't win again. Only one winner per my lifetime. The first person to type in the answer the way Mr. Lady Ada here wants to see it in the Ustream or YouTube chat wins the prize, which is this Arduino Zero Pro. I don't know. Try it out. Let me know how it works because I haven't had time to do it. I wish I could try the debugging capability because it sounds kind of neat. Hopefully that's built into the IDE by now.
Yeah.
You get some passive-aggressive stickers too. All right, what's the question?
Okay, this is it. If you watch the blog, it'll be pretty easy for you to guess this one. What is the name of the machine that Colin uses in the latest Collins Lab?
Did you
What
watch
is the machine?
Collins Lab. That's right. There's a new Collins Lab.
Yeah, new Collins
Just
Lab
came out like
today.
an hour ago.
Yeah, we're gonna play it for the end of the show here.
Oh, okay.
But what is the name of it?
What machine does he use? It's not called the machine.
Oh, pufferfish. Congratulations, you got it.
It's another mill.
It's another mill. So that's it for the show this week, folks.
Pufferfish, please email email support at Adafruit and say you won Arduino Zero Pro, and they will help you out.
Yeah. And what I wanted to do is a couple of things before we go. One was to get this ready.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's
I'll
okay.
do a little dance.
No, we're not. We're fine. And what we're going to do is we're going to thank everybody. Thank you, everyone out
Thanks,
there
everybody.
who hung out in the show tonight. All the staff members, all the people working here. We're going to go do a little bit of construction stuff here. As you can tell, when I did the drone fly through, we still have some more work to do. So we're going to work on that.
Ducting.
Yeah, we got a lot of things.
Different kind of engineering, HVAC engineering.
Yeah, we got a lot of things that we're going to wrap up. And we'll see everybody soon. Thanks to all the staff members here that are working here late tonight. Thank you, everybody out there who's going to use the code Blinky. 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. I've got this picture of a cat. And I'm going to do Moment of Zener, but we'll see everybody next week. However, I'm going to close out with the latest Collins Lab. And here we go.
Bye, everybody.
You can make your own printed circuit board in a number of different ways, using chemicals, or you can have your board professionally made at a fabrication house, or you can use one of these, a milling machine. As always, you'll need to start with a design for your board. The other mill accepts most common PCB design file formats. I'm using EagleCAD software here, which exports in BRD format. But this time, instead of my own design, I'll be using this capacitive synth layout from the other machine company, because I want to play it. The capacitive synth only has one layer of traces, so we can use a single-sided copper-clad board. If we were milling a double-sided board, we'd use a bracket to make sure both sides line up properly. But we're keeping things simple, so we'll just use some double-sided tape to keep the board stable during milling. Make sure it's squared up with the mounting plate and press it down nice and secure before getting started. The other mill software is pretty straightforward. Open up the board file for our project and specify the end mill size we'll be using. This design can be cut using 1/32 and 1/64" end mills. We'll start with the smaller of the two, which will only be used for the holes and a few tight corners. After the mill goes through a quick calibration process, we can begin cutting copper. Once the mill is done using the 1/64" end mill, it will automatically pause and prompt me to install the 1/32" Since this is a relatively large board, the entire process takes a little under 2 hours to complete. But after that, our board is good to go and ready to solder. Pleasingly glitchable, capacitively touchable. I like it. Keep in mind, you can make more than just electronics with this thing. You can also make cat pins. Credits.